Can you believe I missed a flight because I was sitting at the wrong gate? Not just any flight, but an expensive, non-refundable international one. And the worst part? The airline refuses to take any responsibility, even though they were partly to blame. Let me walk you through this travel nightmare so you can avoid the same fate. It all started on a pretty normal travel day. I got to the airport with plenty of time to spare, checked in my bags, and breezed through security. Everything was going smoothly. I checked my boarding pass and saw my flight was departing from Gate 5. Or so I thought. For some reason, my brain registered it as Gate 6. A simple, tiny mistake, but one that would cost me dearly. So, I confidently strolled over to Gate 6. I settled in, pulled out my laptop, and got to work. I was on a tight deadline, so I was completely absorbed in what I was doing. I put my headphones on, noise-cancelling mode activated, and tuned out the world. Now, here's where the universe decided to play a cruel joke on me. The flight at Gate 6, where I was sitting, was also going to the exact same city as my actual flight. What are the odds? This incredible coincidence made me feel secure. I saw the destination on the screen, and it matched mine. No red flags went up. After a while, I heard a muffled announcement. I took off my headphones and caught the tail end of it. Something about a delay. I looked at the screen at Gate 6, and sure enough, it said the flight was delayed. I thought, okay, great, more time to work. I didn't even think to double-check if this was my specific flight number. I just assumed it was. In my mind, I was at the right place, the flight was delayed, and everything was under control. So I put my headphones back on and went back to my work, completely oblivious. Time passed. I was so focused that I didn't notice the boarding process for my actual flight starting and finishing over at Gate 5. I didn't see the passengers lining up, scanning their tickets, and walking down the jet bridge. I was in my own little bubble at Gate 6, patiently waiting for a flight that wasn't mine. One of the most frustrating things about this whole situation is that there was no final call announcement. You know, that final call for passenger John Smith on flight AB 123 to London, message that blares through the airport speakers? It never happened. Not for my flight, not for my name. If there had been a final call, it would have snapped me out of my work-induced trance. I would have heard my name, realized my mistake, and sprinted over to the correct gate. But there was only silence. Finally, I finished my work and looked up at the clock. It was well past the original departure time, even with the delay I thought I had. I looked at the screen at Gate 6 again. The flight information had changed. My destination city was gone. A wave of confusion washed over me. I checked my boarding pass again, really looked at it this time, and my heart sank. Gate 5, not 6. It was Gate 5 all along. I grabbed my things and ran. I raced over to Gate 5, my luggage bouncing behind me. The gate was completely empty. The jet bridge was pulled back. The plane was gone. I had missed it. I stood there, breathless and in disbelief, staring at the empty tarmac where my plane should have been. All that money for the ticket, gone. My plans for the trip, up in smoke. All because of a single-digit mistake and a bizarre series of coincidences. I went to the airline's customer service desk, hoping for some understanding. I explained the situation calmly. I told them how I misread the gate, how the other gate had a flight to the same city, how I mistook their delay announcement for mine, and how there was no final call. I acknowledged my part of the mistake. I wasn't asking for a full refund, but maybe they could rebook me on the next flight without a huge penalty. I thought it was a reasonable request, especially since the lack of a final call was also a factor. Their response? A cold, hard no. They said it was entirely my responsibility to be at the correct gate at the correct time. They showed me the fine print in their terms and conditions. They claimed they were not obligated to make final call announcements for every passenger. They offered no help, no sympathy, nothing. They basically said, Tough luck, you missed it. Now you have to buy a brand new, last-minute ticket if you want to fly. The price for that new ticket was astronomical, almost double what I had originally paid. I was furious. It felt so unjust. Yes, I made the initial mistake of going to the wrong gate. I own that, but the airline's operational choices made a bad situation 1,000 times worse. Why would an airport schedule two flights to the same destination from adjacent gates around the same time? Why wouldn't they make a final boarding call, which is a standard practice in most airports around the world? It felt like their system was designed to make it easy for passengers to fail, and they were perfectly happy to profit from it. I spent the next hour arguing with supervisors, but it was like talking to a brick wall. They wouldn't budge. I was left with a choice: either pay a fortune for a new ticket or abandon my trip altogether. In the end, I had to swallow the loss and buy the new ticket. It was a painful, expensive lesson. So, what can you learn from my travel disaster? First, double and triple check your gate number. Don't just glance at it, stare at it. Burn it into your memory. Second, match the flight number, not just the destination. As I learned, multiple flights can go to the same city. The flight number is your unique identifier. Third, don't rely on noise-cancelling headphones or getting lost in your work. Stay aware of your surroundings. Look up every 15 minutes. Watch what other people are doing. Is a line forming? That's your cue to pay attention. And finally, don't assume the airline or airport will help you. They might not make that final call that could save you. You are your own best advocate. Set alarms on your phone for boarding time. Stay alert. It's a jungle out there in the travel world, and you need to be on your A game. I hope my story helps you avoid making the same costly mistake I did. Travel safe, everyone. Thanks for listening to my rant. If you have any of your own travel horror stories, share them in the comments below. Let's help each other out. And if you liked this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more travel tips and stories. See you in the next one.